Wow, stories.
My fiance's sister and brother-in-law spread lies about me to the entire family. So I recorded them admitting the truth and played it at their next family gathering. For everyone to hear, sorry for the long post. My fiance's 33, brother-in-law, 40-year-old male, flew in from Hawaii this past weekend to go to a golf tournament. I do not get along with my fiance's sister and haven't seen or talked to his brother-in-law for about 2 years. My relationship with my future in-laws has been very toxic. His parents always tried to break us up as he comes from an enmeshed family, where his sister, the oldest sibling, always called the shots and was in his mom's ear. The past few months, I've been trying to put in the effort to have dinner with them and be cordial. When his brother-in-law came into town, I offered to go play some golf with them for half the day, so that I could meet him. Things were great. We all went to dinner with his family that night, although things were a bit awkward because they were asking him about his family, his new daughter, etc. I just sat there and nobody asked me about my family, even though they haven't spoken in a few years. Yet my dad always reaches out to my future father-in-law to wish him on occasions. So Saturday evening comes along. We leave to go to the Masters. It's about a 2.5-hour drive, and I offered to drive them and took my car. Once we reached the hotel, his brother-in-law was FaceTiming his mom because she's in Hawaii with my fiance's sister and the baby. She asked him who all was there, and he said it's only him and my husband. That honestly pissed me off. His mom doesn't know much about me, but what I cared for the most was not being able to see my 6-month-old niece. Nobody in my future husband's family has ever cared to show me pictures of her or let me see her on a video call. My future husband doesn't talk much with his older sister because of our issues with her, so he hardly sees her either, but he does more than I do. I was upset, went to the room, and fell asleep. The next day was the day of the tournament. We only had 2 passes, so it was me and the brother-in-law who went in by ourselves first while my husband stayed back. We had a fairly good time. He even said so himself. Because it was my first time there, I had jokingly said to him, I don't give a FK about fiance's name. He can wait to come in a little longer since I've never been here before and he's been about 3 times. He took it highly offensive and disrespectful. If anyone knows about the Masters, being able to go is almost a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I helped his brother-in-law pick out an outfit for my niece from the gift shop, and he didn't say anything about my comment. When we got back to the hotel, my fiancé was asleep and was annoyed that we came out 2 hours after we were supposed to. He had an attitude, and I kind of snapped back at him. My fiancé and his brother-in-law then went into the tournament while I stayed back. Once it was over, his brother-in-law came back without my fiancé. I asked him where he was, and his reply was, he's old enough, he'll figure it out. There were almost 50,000 people there. His brother-in-law left the chairs behind and didn't remember picking them up, so we don't have those either anymore. The car ride home, his brother-in-law kept trying to offer my fiancé advice on getting his life together, etc. My fiancé runs his family business and works harder than anyone I know. A lot of the things he said were way out of line. Telling him to stop smoking marijuana when my fiancé hardly does. Telling me I should leave him when he has no clue about our relationship whatsoever. More so, he even FaceTimed his daughter, and I was finally able to see my niece for the first time and was referred to as her aunt by my boyfriend's sister. His brother-in-law told us that he had a great time with me. When they got home, I got a call from my fiancé saying he overheard his brother-in-law snitching to his mom that he smokes Zaza. We fought in public, etc. His parents dropped him off at the airport the next morning, and he ended up saying more things to his parents. Today, my fiancé calls me to tell me that his parents think we can't be together anymore because I'm a terrible person. We both think it's out of spite that he told them things because literally 2 hours before I dropped them home, he was praising me. He told his wife that I had helped pick out his daughter's outfits, everything. But because I made that about, I don't give a FCK about comment, I'm the worst person ever. When his brother-in-law told my fiancé about it, he immediately knew I was joking and told him I didn't mean it because I would never intentionally talk shit about my fiancé to anyone. I don't know what to do. I want to sit down and have a conversation with his parents that has been long overdue. They've never ever once seen any good in me. And it's been a witch hunt between my fiancé's mom and his sister against me to try to get me out of the relationship. My fiancé obviously has my back, but he said he's done all and said all he could. What his brother-in-law did as a 40-year-old man is just something I can't even fathom. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Are you sure your fiancé even likes you, girl? I couldn't read the rest of the post after never being able to see your niece. It's never going to get better with them if things were never good in the first place. It truly blows my mind that you think that this is normal in a relationship. They are telling you loud and clear that they don't think of you as family. I would really reconsider this whole relationship unless you want to spend many more years like this in this family and you reach your breaking point, because that is what it'll be, your breaking point, nothing them changing. Take a minute to really think about if you want this for the rest of your life. Comment 2. If your fiancé has your back, there's nothing else. Just stop. This is what the relationship or lack of relationship is. My parents have been married for over 50 years, and on my grandmother's deathbed, she told my dad she still doesn't approve of him or their relationship. Maybe someday they will change their mind. It took my in-laws 20 years. They joked they honestly thought we would never make it while giving me a family heirloom. At some point, the relationship is what it is, and as long as your fiancé has your back, that's all that matters. Now for the update. Thanks for all the comments on the last update. They really helped me process things. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, they did. My fiancé's brother-in-law, the one who flew in from Hawaii, turned out to be the last person I expected to stab me in the back. After the whole Masters tournament fiasco, I was already on edge, but what happened next was a real kick in the teeth. So my fiancé and I had been trying to mend fences with his family, despite their constant meddling. His sister, the one who's always in their mom's ear, had been a thorn in our side for years, but we were making progress, or so I thought. Then, out of the blue, my fiancé's brother-in-law starts acting all buddy-buddy with me. He even went as far as to compliment me on how I handled myself at the tournament. Despite that little joke I made about my fiancé, it felt like we were finally getting somewhere, like maybe this family could come together after all. But here's where it gets twisted. The brother-in-law, he goes behind our backs and starts feeding his wife and my future mother-in-law all these lies about me. He twisted my words, made it seem like I didn't care about my fiancé at all. And the worst part, he did it right after we had spent the day together, after I'd helped him pick out a gift for his daughter, my niece, who I finally got to see on a video call. It's like he was waiting for the perfect moment to drop this bomb on us. My fiancé overheard him on the phone, spilling all these exaggerated stories, making me out to be some kind of monster. And just like that, all the progress we had made with his family was blown to smithereens. Now, his parents are on this warpath, convinced that I'm the root of all evil. They're pressuring my fiancé to break things off with me, saying that I'm a bad influence. It's like they're looking for any excuse to push me out. And the brother-in-law handed it to them on a silver platter. I'm at my wit's end here. My fiancé is just as shocked as I am. He knows I was joking. He knows I love him. But his family? They're eating up every word, the brother-in-law said. It's like they want to believe the worst about me. And the cherry on top? The brother-in-law left town like nothing happened. Like he didn't just drop a grenade in the middle of our lives. He's back in Hawaii, probably sipping on a Mai Tai, while we're here picking up the pieces. I've been trying to reach out to his parents, to clear the air, to show them who I really am. But every attempt just falls on deaf ears. They've made up their minds, and it seems like nothing I say or do can change that. My fiancé is standing by me, but he's torn up about it too. His family means a lot to him, and this whole mess is tearing him apart. He's been trying to smooth things over, but there's only so much he can do when they're all convinced I'm the villain. I never thought his brother-in-law, of all people, would be the one to betray us. I mean, he's a grown man, for crying out loud. You'd think he'd have better things to do than stir up drama like some high school gossip. But here we are dealing with the fallout. It's like we're living in some twisted soap opera, except there's no script to follow, no director to cut to the next scene. It's just us, trying to figure out how to move forward when it feels like the whole world is against us. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I do know one thing. I'm not giving up without a fight. I love my fiancé, and I'm not going to let his family's pettiness tear us apart. We're going to get through this, one way or another.